And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Ultimate Dirt TV. Tonight, I bring you the AFSR, the Australian Fixed Setup Racing WP Concreting 410 Sprint Car Series. Tonight, we visit the USA International Speedway, the virtual racetrack, a track that is no longer open. So, iRacing have thrown dirt on it. My name is Brett Wheeler. Joining me in the booth once again for this week is Sean O'Hara. Sean, how you doing?
Yeah, doing well, thanks, Brett. Thanks for having me again.
It's a pleasure to have you along. We're getting set for qualifying here at the moment. We'll see, have a look at our top 10 in qualifying. On the left-hand side of the screen, Danny Vassell is quick time at the moment with an 18.952. Lachlan Smith with an 18.994. Jaron Mott at the moment third, quick with a 19.066. Bob King in fourth, and Nathan Britton rounds out the top 5 in one track that is pretty tacky at the moment, Sean. Qualifying times are very fast at the moment.
Yeah, you expect to see that early in the night, so see these times get laid down here pretty quickly, and then they'll settle into that race pace later on in the heat.
Alright, so just under 3 minutes left here of qualifying, and we are, as I said, Danny Vassell at the moment is quick time. Daniel Gow will finish off for the top 10. Daniel Gow in 6th at the moment. Gavin Sadler, Nathan Norman, Jason Brown, and Zachary Farr are on board. And we're going to go on board with the 15 of Jason Brown. His next lap time is going to be, looks like it's a 19.210. It's not going to change. So just drivers getting 2 laps to set their fastest lap times around here. And then basically we just go straight into a feature event.
Yeah, Daniel once again showing he's got some qualifying form there, putting on the top at the moment.
So many drivers we have in total at the moment. 13 drivers to officially take a time. We're just waiting on another 4 more drivers to see. In fact, 3 of them aren't even in the service. So, which leaves Lawrence, Sloggett, Bainton. It looks like John Lawrence is the only car not to take a time here, but you know, with the fixed setup at the moment, less than half a second separates you know, fast time and position number 13. What do you think we're going to see here tonight?
Well, with this fixed setup, like last week, we're going to see some good racing, I believe. It does bring the field closer together, so obviously by the time of qualifying, we can see that everyone's running roughly the same pace, so I should expect to see some really close wheel-by-wheel racing.
Yeah, it's not too far away from getting into the action tonight. Tonight we are going to see 2 races. You'll see one in the daytime, then the second race, it'll be under the lights, and it'll come up virtually straight up after race number 1. I think there's probably about a 5-minute interval by the time the session goes up, and then when the session goes up, I think they have is it a 10-minute practice or a 20-minute practice? One of the two, and then they get straight into qualifying. And also we'll get straight into race number 2 as well. So plenty of racing still to come here on Ultimate Dirt TV. Thank you for tuning in. Maybe you're watching from around the world, whether you're in Australia, America, New Zealand, or any other country. And looks like John Lawrence is going to go out on the racetrack. I'm going to try some new camera angles here tonight.
I believe this is the first time we're also broadcasting on a paper track, as it's called, so we have some fairly long straights coming into rather tight corners, so it does take a little bit of a different driving style compared to the more wider sort of free-flowing levels. So
it's kind of like a Williams Grove, just a longer version of Williams Grove, you know, it's, or even a Martinsville Speedway. But look, John Lawrence unable to lay down the time due to the time we're running out, and that's going to mean that Danny Vassell will start tonight's main event on the pole. I'm sure we'll let you run down our grid for tonight.
Okay, so on the pole we have Danny Vassell. On second we have Lachlan Smith. On the second row and third we have Jaron Mott. Sitting beside him will be Bob King. Then we have Nathan Britton and Daniel Gow on the third row, followed by Gavin Sadler in 7th, and Nathan Norman will be in 8th. Sitting inside your top 10, number 9 will be Jason Brown and Zachary Phelan in 10th. Grid spot 11 will be Scott Butler. Beside him on grid position 12 will be James Robbie. Position 13, Mike O'Donnell. And position 14, John Lawrence, as we saw not being able to set time, so he will be starting off the back.
All right, thank you very much. And we have 40 laps now, twin 40 lap main events to come here on Ultimate Dirt TV, thanks to the guys at the Australian Fix Setup Racing and also WP Concreting for putting on this series. But much appreciated for us to broadcast it here at Ultimate Dirt TV, and it's always a pleasure to have some company and some help in the booth. And so Sean, thank you for the second week in a row. Hopefully never know, might make this a bit of a partnership deal between where we can get you in each week for the Fix series.
Yeah, that'd be great. I enjoy doing it.
Right, so the cars roll past the front straight away for the final time under or behind the pace truck at the moment. Now, last week we saw cautions not on. This week we are going to see the cautions activated. So if we do see a caution, you will hear the yellow flag come out and drivers will line up behind the iRacing official pace truck, and they will be commanded by iRacing itself. So we go down the back straight away in 40 laps for race number 1 here in the daytime in the virtual USA International Speedway, located in Lakeland in Florida. So Danny Vassell and Lachlan Smith is your front row. We get set to go green off turn number 4 as the pace truck takes the left hand turn into pit lane, and we are green on the green, and we're having fun. 40 laps as we get set.
Big wheel stand by Dan there as he got on the gas hard. These things are really hard to get off from the start.
Alright, so Lachlan Smith leads down into 3 and 4. Vassell on the inside of the 51. That's Bob King in third place. So a nice little side-by-side battle developing here for your runner-up spots. Side-by-side into 1 and 2 they go. It's Vassell on the inside. He makes the pass. Now Bob King looks back to the inside, down the back straight away into 3 and 4. King, can you make the move? He does make the move, but Vassell too strong in the middle.
Yeah, Vassell's definitely trying to get onto that high line as quick as he could. The low line was just slowing down a bit there, so he's managed to get in front of Bob King there, and now following and looking at getting Lachlan.
Just trying to run down Lachlan Smith, your race leader, on board here with Danny Vassell. So we'll see if he can reel in that 9-11 early on in the race at the moment. 3 down, 37 laps left to run here at USA, and 40 laps around USA, the longest dirt track that we have here on the iRacing service. It's going to take patience.
Yeah, we can tell by they are currently doing 19-second lap time, so it is one of the longest tracks we do come to.
Just see the new camera angles that we have for you here on Ultimate Dirt TV. We're just kind of playing around at the moment. You see Vassell running the low side of the speedway now. In fact, going to pull up alongside the 911 of Lachlan Smith, but Lachlan has too much drive off turn number 4, and well, now it's going to be a race off turn number 2, and who's going to have it? It looks like Vassell and Smith are going to be side by side.
Looks like that high line's still getting a better drive out of the corner. Dan can just run in there a little bit quicker and get alongside of him. Just can't quite make that move, and now here comes Bob King around the top side.
Yeah, we're on board. Lachlan Smith just outside, or just off the left hand of the driver's side where they get into the cockpit, and you're watching the battle unfold right in behind them. Bob King now takes over that second spot on the racetrack as they go down the front straight away. And well, we've got 7 down, 33 laps left to run, and a nice battle brewing here for the minor placings.
Yeah, Danny Vassell had to get off the high line there to try and make a move, but it has cost him a spot to Bob King.
The 13 of Daniel Gow as well back there in 4th as we come back. We come back to a different camera angle. I apologise for that one.
Daniel looking really racy here against Danny Vassell.
Challenge for the race leaders, Bob King and Lachlan Smith. King with a big Smith with a big slide job on Bob King, as King is going to work to the inside, and this time he's going to return serve, and well, it's a slide job central at the moment between your race leaders.
definitely going to open up for Danny Vassell and Daniel Gow to get in on this action as well.
So Lachlan Smith, your race leader, 1/4 of the race distance being completed. 10 down, 30 laps left to run, and still yet to see a caution. Your top 4 starting to spread away from your 5th place runner. Now Lachlan Smith runs the high side, as does Bob King, and Bob King actually running a lane up than what Lachlan Smith is running at the moment. And well, with these fixed setups, both drivers are on the same set. It just comes back down to adjusting that wing angle, waiting until the fuel burns off, and it all comes back. It'll all be down to driver ability as well.
Yeah, definitely knowing where to put the car at the right time helps as well. As you can see, Bob's really trying to get up into that moisture in the top of the fence, cutting it really close, putting that right rear on the fence line there. Looks like Lachlan Smith just running car width down.
So Smith will continue to lead the field as we've completed 13 laps and not a single yellow at the moment. So all drivers keeping their cars nice and straight, knowing that it's a long race. Bob King still holds on to second. Vassell right there knocking on the door, and right behind him is Daniel Gow. In fact, Gow looks to the outside of Vassell into turn number 1 and 2. Vassell going to slide up, and well, it's going to be almost contact between the two as Gow, he's going to make that pass for third, but Vassell comes right back with a slide job of his own, and there is contact there, but Gow, he just gets around the outside, and in comes, I think that's Nathan Norman in the 23. He makes contact with Danny Vassell, and yellow is out.
Yeah, really hard racing there between Daniel Gow and Danny Vassell. Looks like Danny just went up into the wall and rode the wall and tipped over. I think Bob King will be a bit disappointed there. He was getting a run on Lachlan Smith for the lead there, but that yellow has now settled back down and will bring the field back together.
Yes, indeed. It will bring the field back together, and as I said, we're on board here on the top of the wing of Bob King as he looks back through the field. And we'll go through your restart order here in just a moment. As it is Bob King leading the way. We got Daniel Gow in. So we don't have. We got Lachlan Smith in second.
Apologies for that. I must have missed that pass. Bob King did get Lachlan Smith.
Yeah. So Bob King going to be your race leader. Then Lachlan Smith in second. Daniel Gow third. Nathan Norman in fourth. We've got Nathan Britton in fifth. Zach Phelan sixth. We've got Mott in seventh. Robbie in eighth. Sadler in ninth. And O'Donnell rounds out the top 10. I don't think there's too many cars after that. I believe we've got a couple of cars already in the pits. Danny Vassell is the last car. So there's 11 cars remain here in the restart as the lights, I believe, are still on the pace truck.
Yeah, looks like we'll do one more lap here before going green. No, just to mention, turn 1 at this track, obviously, due to where the pit wall is, it's a great sliding opportunity to come in nice and early and drive down hard into 1. So we'll look for that from Lachlan Smith off the start and see what he can do coming into 1.
Alright, so we're going to ride on board here. In fact, drivers are going to double up here, so expect Daniel Gow to get a good start as well. We'll try and keep an eye on the number 13 as teammate to Bob King. We'll see what happens here. We got it'll be 19 down, 21 laps left to run here, and I don't think they can't go until the green flag drops. So you know, you'll see the drivers get on the gas quarter way down the straightaway. So it always makes it tough with these with the stagger on these race cars.
Again, you see those wheel stands off the line. It's so hard to get the power down.
Oh, Lachlan Smith, he's going to have contact with the inside wall. He saves it, but he drops back to 10th place on the racetrack, and he's fighting it out with Danny Vassell, and seems that they just can't get away from each other at the moment. But it's going to be Bob King leading Daniel Gow. Nathan Britton rides in that third spot, but he's having pressure here from the 23 of Nathan Norman as well.
Yeah, Oh, big crash there. I think that was. I couldn't quite grab the numbers. Coming out turn 4.
Looks like James
Yeah.
Robbie's involved in that one. Vassal, Nathan Britton. Sadler's slowing as well. Mike O'Donnell looks to be maybe involved in that one. And, well, they unfortunately cautions. They can breed a few cautions in dirt track racing. Second caution of the night. Let's hopefully we can get back to those long green flag runs. And you know, the longer this race goes on, you know, the more fuel that they will burn. You know, the easier these cars will get to handle.
They will become easier, yeah. I was just looking back on that, and it looks like Nathan Britton got loose mid-corner, and James Robbie had nowhere to go, and then it was just Constantina after that.
Alright, so a couple of cars back in the pits. The 41 of James Robbie, Danny Vassal as well. You can see him pulling up at the front of your pit lane, and we got just 8 cars remaining, unfortunately, here in race number 1 of the AFSR WP Concreting 410 Fixed Sprint Car Series here at the USA International Speedway. Lights are still on the pace truck. It should be going off this time by, which will give us about 15 laps left to run when we get the green flag. And well, anything can happen in 15 laps, Sean.
Yeah, especially on a track like this, we just saw everybody grouping up together from the yellow, so everyone needs to be very careful. And it looks like everyone's trying to get to the high line too, which is causing some of that drama. A lot of wheel bumping as they try and move up to that high line.
There's another big effect that will have these cars when they get the green flag on the straightaways, because you're doing about 40 to 45 miles per hour. With that bigger outside right rear tyre on these race cars, they generally tend to take off towards the left of the racetrack, especially if you've got your wing, at least a decent size back in. If you've got a -6 or -8, even some drivers may tend to still run it at a -10. So the tightness in that race car when they first take off, that's also a factor as well. So if they can sort of get the pace rolling about sort of 50 to 60 miles per hour, ease onto the throttle, I think that'll help them as well. So going back to green flag, 15 laps left to run. Sean, let you lead us back to the green.
Okay, so Bob's on the inside, Bob, and we are green, and away we go. Better start from the leaders there. Definitely kept the wheels down that time. Bob slides down underneath Daniel into turn 1, bounces off that wall, but now, who's that? Nathan, I think it is, coming up through the middle to get Daniel Gow.
Yeah, it's Nathan Norman in the 23. Gow getting a little bit sideways. Does he make contact? He's all over the place, and Lachlan Smith just avoids him. Gavin Sadler avoids him as well. So nice driving from the rest of the field. But how about Nathan Norman in car number 23 in that Ian Botcher race pass Lockerbie Q painted skin? He's up to second, and well, right behind there is Jaron Mott in car number 28. He's in that 3rd spot, and Zach Phelan in car number 49. He rounds out in the 4th spot.
He got a really good run down into turn 1 off that start, Nathan Norman. Great to see. Bob's out in front now, definitely making that high line work. Got that right rear right up against the wall.
That he does, and he's starting to check out from the rest of the field. Here comes Daniel Gow in the 13. Your battle on screen at the moment, the 13 on the outside. That's Daniel Gow battling with Zach Phelan on the inside in that 49. That's your battle for 4th and 5th at the moment. That top side is definitely the place to be. At the moment, the track is starting to get really slick through the middle of both turns at both ends of the racetrack. Gow almost coming in contact with the wall. He's going to take over the 4th spot and set his sights on a podium.
Yeah, it's going to be a great drive back after he got very loose coming out of that corner and managed to avoid everyone, and looks like he might be able to drive back to a podium.
3/4 of the race distance is complete. 30 laps down. Just 10 laps remaining. Make that 9 as they come off turn number 4. Bob King, your race leader. Nathan Norman in 2nd. Jaron Mott in 3rd now. Daniel Gow in 4th. And on that 13, we said it before, a couple of laps ago, he's really starting to reel in your top 3. He definitely is a faster driver than these other 2, but once again, it all comes back down to the all drivers being on the same setup.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to look for another line because he's not going to be able to get around the top side there because Mott is definitely keeping it up against the wall. So we are going to have to see Daniel Gow, if he wants that spot, drive hard down into the corner and make sure he gets that right rear back up onto the wall to drive out properly.
Well, here's the thing. If he goes to throw a slider on, it's going to have to be pinpoint accuracy because there's probably a car and a half length. Oh, yellow is out. Just as we said, it's a 6. He was stopped on the back straight away, and Lachlan Smith, man, he was lucky, but no, he clouds the back of the 49, and they both end up upside down. Lachlan Smith, yeah, I dare say that was definitely unintentional there off the 911, but just getting back to that point that I was just about to make too with Daniel Gow trying to pull that slider. There was not a lot of gap between your second and third place car, to throw that slider. You're going to lose a bit of your speed and momentum, and to do that, to try and put that car into a gap where it's going to be very tight to get into, especially when you can't see out the right hand side of your race car. So yellow comes out, and we're going to have about 3 laps left to run. So tight racing here.
Yeah, the big wing plates on the right-hand side do make it really hard when you're trying to do a slider. You have to have enough confidence in the guy above that you know that you've made it and that you go up. He is obviously going to come down and not just bang into the back of you and turn you around.
And I'll tell you what this restart is going to do. It's going to put Daniel Gow on the outside, and that's exactly where he wants to be. And with his teammate going to get the jump, he's going to be able to to see when his teammate is going. So, I mean, this really could work out here for Daniel Gow. We'll just have to keep an eye on the number 13 as we hopefully get the 1 to go signal this time by. And as I said, it'll be 3 laps left to run for race number 1 of the Australian Fixed Setup Racing WP Concreting 410 Sprint Car Series.
Yeah, Daniel Gow definitely be hoping for Nathan to get a good start as well. Otherwise, that's going to hamper him a little bit. He may have to go to the middle, and by the looks of it, there's not a lot in the middle. It's been very slick through there.
The track is very top dominant at the moment. There's still a lot of grip though on the racetrack. Particularly in sort of 1 and 2. I think you get in the middle 1 and 2. I think there's still a middle line there. So even if you do. If someone does throw a slide job, you can still hit some sort of grip patch in the middle of the corner. You might be able to make something work. 3 and 4 is totally different though. Pace truck will take the left-hand turn into pit lane. 3 laps left to run. Guys can't go until the green flag is out. And the green is out, and we're back underway. Bob King leads Nathan Norman down into 1 and 2. And a good start by Norman now. Here comes the 777 on the inside. Nathan Britton 3 wide off turn number 2 if you don't mind.
Nathan Norman now trying to make that inside work. I think he may get stuck down there. Daniel Gow coming around the outside now.
There's definitely still a bottom there in 1 and 2. Not sure how it's going to go in 3 and 4. He's trying to keep the car pinned to the low side. 1 lap to go. 3/4 of a mile for Bob King to put this car, the number 51, in victory lane. Norman still on the inside. He gets that bottom working off turn number 2. Almost contact there with Daniel Gow. He gets out of shape, but into turn number 3 and 4 for the final time. Race number 1 will go to the 51 of Bob King. 2nd will be Daniel Gow. 3rd will go to Nathan Norman. 4th, Nathan Britton. Jaron Mott rounds out your top 5. You go back to Gavin Sadler in 6th. Lachlan Smith in 7th. And Zachary Phelan in 8th. And that is your 8 cars that finish this one. You go back to Mike O'Donnell, James Robbie, Danny Vassell, Jason Brown, Scott Butler, John Lawrence. And that was the 14 cars. So we'll have a chat with our top 3. See if we can
Great drive there by Daniel Gow to have that incident coming off the corner and then still drive back to 2nd. Just shows that he knew exactly where to put the car and made the moves when it counted.
Alright, so we'll send it over to Sean to have a chat with our third place driver. Make sure he's got a microphone. Nathan, you got a copy.
Nathan, great race there. We saw you trying to make that bottom work in the last few laps. Was that a conscious decision?
Yeah, also I had the top covered, so I couldn't really go up there, so I had to try to make the bottom work.
We saw you try and come up onto Daniel there and got a little bit close and got a little bit squirrely, but it was still side by side for a few laps there. Was actually pretty good on the bottom there, considering how fast the top had been already.
Yeah, I just got stuck in that groove and it took me to the top by accident, but turned out okay at the end.
So was there any changes to the car during that heat to make it work, or were you just running the high line the whole way around?
Not really too many setup changes, but just a bit of a wing adjustment, that's it.
All right, thank you for that. That was a great race, and we hope to see you in the next one.
Yeah, cheers.
Daniel, great drive there to fall back as far as you did and then still manage to get to second.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, that restart wasn't exactly the greatest. I gave Bob a bit of room to come back up the top and sort of didn't do myself any favors by doing that.
You got very lucky there with most of the field managing to miss you. That could have caused a bit of damage. Was there any damage to the car, or did it come unscathed?
Luckily enough, no one hit me, thankfully. So I thought I was going to get cleaned up. I really did. I thought that's it, race over. Someone's going to hit me, but no, everyone avoided me, thankfully.
Yeah, we were watching that in the booth. It was definitely interesting to see everyone and the different lines they were taking. That high line definitely working better. Is there still room for sliders on this track?
Yeah, there's room if you've got the skill to do it. There is places to do it.
I was also saying during the broadcast, how much does it actually determine who you're racing with to how much you can throw it in there and hope that they can give you as much room as you're going to give them?
Oh, heaps. Like the guys like Bob or Lachlan Smith or Nathan Britton, Gavin Sadler, guys like that I race with quite a bit. They know they know and I know. So, but the newer guys I haven't raced against before, it's a little sketchy.
Thanks a lot for your time, Daniel. Great drive again, and we hope to see you in the next one. Is there any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Just Trackstar and all the boys at SSR. New team and doing pretty well.
Thanks for your time, Daniel.
Alright, that was Daniel Gower coming home in second place, and we are standing on the front stretch here with the driver of the 51 machine, also a sponsor of Ultimate Dirt TV, Bob King. So congratulations, Bob. Hard fought victory there in the end.
Yeah, it was pretty difficult with a few restarts there, and didn't qualify the best, so I had to come from behind and make it happen when the track's slipping off a little bit.
And you had to run down Lockie Smith there for quite some time, and also Vassal as well. You guys certainly put on a show on those opening sort of 10 to 15 laps.
Yeah, it was a little bit one lane when the track was a little bit tacky, but when it opened up, managed to make the move on Dan and sort of sat behind Lockie for a little while, hoping he'd make a mistake, but he didn't. And sort of went to make something happen, and the caution come out and got lucky and jumped him.
At that last restart there with 3 to go, knowing that you had Nathan Norman, who I haven't really seen too much of him here on Ultimate Dirt TV. He was starting on your outside. How crucial was it to get that jump on that last green flag, knowing that you had to get to the top side?
Yeah, it's pretty difficult starting on the green light, so you're starting quite close to the start line, so the car sort of gets a bit unstable heading into one. So you've got to try and clear the guy on the outside to make the move. Luckily I did. Yeah, really would have had to deal with that if it didn't.
Okay, well done on picking up race number 1 here of race number 2. Race number 2 going to be under the lights here. I'm sure you got some sponsors you want to thank.
Yeah, I'll just give a shout out to the guys at SSR, Sim Racing, Trackstar Raceware and the Speedway Shop.
Right, well done, and hopefully we get to see you here in Victory Lane again for race number 2.
Yeah, I hope so too, Brett. Thanks, guys.
Now Bob King picks up race number 1 winner, and Sean, pretty eventful race over the 40 laps. We've seen 3 cautions, still pretty exciting, you know, from start to finish.
Yeah, this track will tend to give us this sort of action like that because of it was also because of the one line as well. So everyone had to, if they were going to make a move, they needed to put some risk into that move, and we saw that happen a couple of times, and it didn't pay off for some people, and for other people it did. I was pretty impressed with Nathan Norman there.
Certainly was. So next time you'll see these drivers will be in about 5 to 10 minutes. We're just waiting on the server to go up. This time it'll be under the lights. So we'll take a quick break here on Ultimate Dirt TV and we'll come back with race number 2 for the AFSR, the Australian Fixed Setup Racing WP Concreting 410 Sprint Car Series. And we are back here on Ultimate Dirt TV for race number 2 of the Australian Fixed Setup Racing WP Concreting 410 Fixed Series. We get into race number 2, qualifying getting underway. We'll throw it over to Sean O'Hara to take you through the next couple of minutes here on Ultimate Dirt TV.
Thanks for that, Brett. Car's just coming out on track as we speak for time trials in the second round of second heat of the Australian Fixed Setup Racing League. Car's just setting their times now, just all starting to come up to speed. Track will be a lot different now that it is nighttime, so the times should be a little bit quicker. It's also a fresh track by the looks of it. So straight to the top goes Scott Butler with a 19.696. Nathan Norman beats that straight away with a 19.602. Currently watching Dan Vassell finish his lap. He's just touched the wall. Zachary Fallon with the top time. Nathan Norman back to the top with a 19.413. Top times are falling quick here. So current running order, Nathan Norman with a quick time 19.413. Danny Vassell in second with a 19.498. Zachary Fallon is in top 3 with a 19.508. Daniel Gow's just come on the track and gone second quick time with 19.496. His second time just to come up now. It doesn't look like he's got any better. No, 19. It does go a little bit quicker, but not as quick as Nathan Norman. 19.476 on the second lap. Looks like we're winding that down now. Everyone's set a lap time here. So your top 10 by the looks of it will be Nathan Norman in pole. Daniel Gow in second. Daniel Vassell in third. Zachary Fallon in fourth. Lachlan Smith will be in fifth. Gavin Sadler is in sixth place, followed by Scott Butler and James Robbie. Looks like James Robbie does have another lap, but he's just touched the wall. He's not going to be able to finish that. Joel Berkeley now on the track. First time was a 19.797 and then clips the wall in his second lap, so that will be his quick time for the night in 10th place currently. So Nathan Norman looks like he's going to hold on to the quick time here at the moment. That'll be all our drivers completing their 2 laps in this time trial session. Lance Brighton's on the track currently to do his 2 laps. He'll be the last of our time trial qualifiers. Top 3 currently still Nathan Norman, Daniel Gow, and Daniel Vassell. Coming through his first lap, we'll see what Lance can put down here. Just coming out of turn 4, and he puts down a lap time of 19.658. That's good enough to put him up to 7. He's just hit the wall in turn 2, so his second lap is not going to count. So that's where he will stand. So your top 5 for tonight will be Nathan Norman. Second place will be Daniel Gow. Third place, Daniel Vassell. Fourth place, Zachary Phelan. And fifth will be Lachlan Smith. So just waiting for the timer to count down before we start the second race. We have about 30 seconds left, so we'll just wait for the timer to count down. We'll get on with this next heat. Again, this will be 40 laps, sponsored by WP Concrete. start to see the cars come out onto the track for this 40-lap feature race. Looking to be some good racing around USA. Hopefully we don't have too many cautions. Last race was pretty caution-free, so that was great to see, and some really good racing. So just as the cars are lining up, we'll go through the full grid for you before they roll off. So on your pole for tonight will be Nathan Norman. Second, and alongside him will be Daniel Gow. On the second row, in third, we have Danny Vassell and Zachary Phelan. On the fourth row, we have Lachlan Smith and Gavin Sadler. Followed then by Lance Blyton and Scott Butler. James Robbie and Nathan Britton will be on the row behind those guys. And off your back row, Joel Berkeley and John Lawrence. Back in the commentary booth, I believe we have Brett. Joel Berkeley set a time in the first one that wasn't quite quick enough, and then that second lap he hit the wall. So again, we'll probably be looking for Joel to make his way through this field and come up from the back like we've seen him do multiple times.
He knows how to run the front of a field, no matter what it's in, whether it's midgets, sprint cars, late models, UMP modifieds, or anything else, legend cars, anything else on the dirt track. He knows how to put that race car towards the front. We'll keep an eye on the number 9 machine starting in the back row, but I tell you what, I'm impressed with Nathan Norman setting quick time here tonight in race number 2. Eye-opener in race number 1, and well, he's just continuing on that good form.
Yeah, he set a relatively quick time as well. It wasn't definitely, it was a few tenths quicker than Daniel Gow, so he's definitely opening my eyes at the moment. So I hadn't known of Nathan before tonight.
No Bob King in race number 2. Not sure what happened to Bob, whether he just didn't connect. I can't see him on the racetrack.
Bob definitely didn't join the server, so not sure what happened then.
Yep, 40 laps on the board. Race number 2 under the lights here at the USA International Speedway. We get set to go green when the green flag drops. The BS stops, and we are green here at USA. Another 40 laps on the board, and another great start by Nathan Norman. Drivers just trying to find their feet on that opening lap.
You're going down 2 and 3 wide in that first 1-2. They're starting to spread out a little bit now. Everyone once again looking for that high line, trying to find that moisture.
So keep an eye towards the front of the field and try and have a look where the battles might be going on right now. Lance Bainton and James Robbie, along with Lachlan Smith, they're all having a nice little battle there. Lachlan Smith threw the big slide job on James Robbie, and that was your battle for 7th on the racetrack. But at the moment, we go back up towards the front of the field. It is Nathan Norman who leads. Daniel Gow, Scott Butler back there in third. He's got that wing tugged all the way back, trying to hit the downforce on the rear wheels.
Well, just having a look for that 9 car. It doesn't look like he is circulating at the moment. Oh, into the wall goes Nathan. It's always a problem when you're running that high line. It's such a fine line. You can't really put a wheel long. It just looks like he got a little bit high coming out of the corner and just got that right rear into the fence.
Yeah, just as it happened as well, Zachary Phelan as well also climbed the wall in at turns 1 and 2. But man, you got to feel sorry for Nathan Norman here. He was your leader, and now he finds himself on the back of the tow truck waiting to get towed back to his pit stall. And early caution, in race number 2, and you'd almost got to think that with a clear track when they get the next restart, if Daniel Gow can get a good jump, he may just be too hard to beat.
Yeah, unless Daniel Vassell can run with him, it's going to be pretty much, we probably should see Daniel walk away, as long as there's not many other cautions after this. The big mover at the moment, I've noticed, Nathan Britton, currently up 6 spots, so he's finding his way through this field pretty quickly.
Yeah, up to position number 4, and he's got the pink machine in front of him, the number 97, who took out quick time in race number 1, finds himself sitting in that 3rd spot. Bit unlucky with contact in that early race, looking to redeem himself in that 97 machine. Scott Butler in the 94 in the WP Concreting West End Mazda. And, 2nd spot, so nice job there by Scott Butler. We'll see if he can hang on to that 2nd spot and even challenge the 122 of Daniel Gower. Lights should be out on the pace track, and in fact they are. The drivers will double up. It'll be 7 laps complete, 33 laps to run when we get the green flag. And Sean, I'll let you lead us all the way down the back straightaway into 3 and 4 for the green flag.
Yeah, lights are off the pace truck, so we're just coming down the back straight now. See how Daniel can jump off the inside. It's going to be interesting. He's going to want to try and get up to that high line, so I expect Daniel to run very low into 1 and just slide up into that high line as they come around 3 and 4 now to take the green flag. So just rolling around. Danny Vassell on the inside in 3rd position there. He'll be hoping to get a good jump as soon as Daniel goes. He'll be on it, and we're waiting for the green flag. Around the outside goes Scott Butler, gets a good drive, but Daniel exactly has a called it down on the inside up onto that high line through 1 and 2. Scott's following him high. Dan and it looks like Nathan Britton and Dan Vassell side by side. We're going to make it 3-way with Lachlan on the inside. Dan up high, Nathan in the middle, Lachlan Smith goes side by side with James Robbie into turn 1 and 2. Field starting to spread out here. Nathan looking really racy against Dan Vassell here. Both running the high line at the moment, but Nathan Britton definitely looks like he's got the quicker car at the moment.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on this battle between Lachlan Smith, Joel Berkeley, and James Robbie. Smith put a big slide job on Berkeley. Berkeley had to really hit the brakes here and try and drive it back underneath him, but couldn't quite get the horsepower back down as he was actually driving through the slick. And Smith nearly 4 wheels up over the cushion as they come down the front straight away into turn number 1 and 2. Your race leader is still Daniel Gower from Scott Butler in the 94. Nice job there by Butler. Vassell back there in 3rd. Then you go back to Britton and James Robbie. You both got a little bit out of shape right now. Contact with Robbie and Smith, and then Berkeley comes in as well. Lachlan Smith gathers it back up. He will lose a couple of spots though, but the number 9 machine of Joel Berkeley, he's starting to reel in James Robbie for 5th.
Yeah, Nathan got into the back of Danny Vassell there and just backfield up behind him. Unfortunate for Lachlan to spin out there and not be able to keep going. Joel Berkeley now looking to get around James Robbie as quickly as possible, because it looks like Nathan Britton is actually pulling away from those two. So he'd want to make quick work of getting past James Robbie here, or it'd be a hard task to try and catch back up to Nathan.
No doubt Berkeley will be looking to make quick work of the 41 as they go down the back straight away. The longest racetrack on the racing service. Big slide job there by Berkeley, but James Robbie, he's going to power back around the outside of Berkeley in the number 9 machine. Very bumpy down the front straightaway.
Yeah, these long straights make it hard. You're carrying a lot of speed coming into that corner, so if you miss your mark, you are going to probably end up in the wall or end up in the side of someone that you're trying to pass. Field's starting to space out a little bit here by the looks of it. Everyone just getting into the groove in the middle of the race, seeing how their cars are, trying to make a few adjustments. Scott got very loose coming out of turn 2 then, and it's very loose. Dan's gone around the outside of him, and Nathan looking to do the same.
Nothing more here with Scott Butler just to see if he can try and hold on to this 3rd and final podium spot. He's got Nathan Britton right in behind him. See how close they can really get to the tail tank before they actually collide and go down like the motocross jumps they are down the front straight away. And I'll tell you what, right in behind Britain is James Robbie. Well, was James Robbie, but also Joel Berkeley. Robbie got into the wall. Britain got into the back. Oh, Butler there as he tries for the big slide job. And Berkeley gets around the outside of Britain, and Berkeley up to 4th.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Scott may have got into the wall there. That car definitely doesn't look very straight coming off the turn. You can see him really struggling with that car down the straight, and Joel goes around pretty easily on the straight line.
And Berkeley done a nice job to find his way up into that 3rd spot, but now he's got a fair distance to catch up to the 97 of Danny Vassell. And well, I'll tell you what, they last week, those drivers, they made contact with each other, and I'll be looking to try and stay off each other this week.
Yeah, I'm sure each of them will give each other racing room this week. Daniel Gow still out in front. We're not talking about him much because he has just led in front this whole race. Dan Vassell now starting to try and pull him in, but I think Joel's actually catching Dan quicker than Danny Vassell's catching Daniel Gow.
Well, let me tell you, that number 9 right now is on an absolute tear. 19.503 that last time by. That is half a second quicker than your race leader of Danny Gow, nearly 4/10 quicker than your second place car of Danny Vassell. And wow, that 9, another 19.5. It was in 19.598 once again. In fact, over half a second. He's actually going to pull to the outside of Danny Vassell as they go down the back straight away into turn number 3 and 4. Vassell going to keep it pinned to the low side, and Berkeley going to round up and take over that 2nd spot.
Yeah, made that look easy. Dan got a little bit sideways, and Joel was there to pounce straight away.
I'm going to tell you, Daniel Gow is going to be in a world of trouble in about 3 laps time, because this 9, with his 3rd 19.5 in a row, he's just got that right rear pinned right up against that wall. 19.5s all day long. 19.677 there for Berkeley, and still over a tenth and a bit quicker than your race leader of Daniel Gow on that last lap. So, I mean, you can just tell by the lap time, you can see right now that Joel Berkeley's just got that right rear right on the cushion, and he's right on that cushion all the way around the turn.
Yeah, I don't think Daniel Gow can do anything at the moment either, because if he tries to go low because he knows that Joel's catching him, it could end up worse for him. So, I mean, you just got to keep doing what you know you're doing. You know you've been quick, but Joel's definitely reeling him in now.
I'm sure he can see that number 9 in his mirror. It's just getting closer and closer, and the more closer that it gets, you just dare say that the more nervous that Daniel Gow would be getting right now.
Yeah, most of the guys, oh, Daniel Gow gets very sideways. Here's the chance for Joel. He's going to look down the inside. He does it, tries to pull the slider. Oh, he keeps it down low. He doesn't come back up. He's going to try and get the run out of 4 down low. Doesn't do it. Daniel gets the run up high. So that was good information for Joel there. So he knows that he's not going to be able to get the run on the inside. But Daniel's just put it into the wall. Joel just put the pressure on him that little bit too much. Showed him his nose, and Daniel just couldn't quite hold on to it and put it into the wall.
So as we come across the start finish line, that completes lap number 29. 11 laps left to run here at USA International Speedway. Race number 2 of the night. We are under the lights here at USA in Berkeley. Starting from dead last, has found his way up into position number 1, and only had the 1 caution so far. Daniel Gow back there in 2nd, 3rd is Daylight, but that's going to be Danny Vassell. And just to say that we only have 1 caution, we find ourselves with another one right now. I'm going to try and see the culprit.
I think that was a competition caution, Brett. It got thrown by the looks of it.
Alright, just trying to bunch the field back up, and well, we're going to have 5 or 6 laps left to run, and then it should hopefully finish under green flag with not too many cars left on the racetrack.
Joel definitely wouldn't want to see that yellow flag come out, but I think he's still just going to be too strong and he should pull away after this restart.
Alright, so actually on top of Joel Berkeley's top wing, looking back towards the field, there's not too many cars. I think there's about 6, maybe 7 cars on the racetrack at the moment, and well, Joel Berkeley has certainly been the fastest one over the past sort of 10 laps with a lot of 19.5s, and just going to show that if you get that right rear just above that cushion and you're right up against that wall, you can be very, very fast, and it's a matter of inches in the sprint car game.
Yeah, most definitely. If he was running even half the wheel width off that wall, he wouldn't be as quick, and it's just showing that he knows exactly where to put his car and at what times to put the car where he needs it.
So we'll see if the lights go out on the pace truck. They should go out this time by, and that's exactly what they do. So the drivers should double up here in just a moment, and it'll be 6 laps left to run for race number 2 of the series, or race number 2 of the night, I should say.
Joel's going to have to make sure that he doesn't get too much wheel spin off the start here. He knows what it's like because he tried to get the run on the inside coming out of turn 2, I believe it was, to try and get Daniel before. So he knows that there's not a lot of grip down there, so he knows he's going to have to be very careful to make sure Daniel doesn't just come around the top side.
In fact, the yellow flag has been displayed, so we're just going to go around one more time, and it'll be 5 laps left to run here. And you got to thank the driver of the TTL Esports Media Speedway footage down under graphics, and SimSpec engineering car is just going to be too strong for Daniel Gow and the rest of the field.
Yeah, it's such a hard thing for the driver, knowing the lights have gone out and then getting that late call and seeing the lights back on. You've got to go through that restart procedure all over again.
Yep. So tightening the sim belt one last time as they roll down the back straight away. 0.75 of a mile. This racetrack is the longest dirt track on the iRacing simulation. All the other tracks, all bar one, which are half a mile. In fact, that's linear, which is 3/8 of a mile. Volusia, Eldora, Williams Grove, and am I forgetting one? They're all half miles. Never mind.
Green flag, green flag.
Green is out, and we're back underway. 5 laps left to run here, and Gow's got a good start.
Stays up high and gets the run out of turn 2. Here comes Nathan Britton on the inside in that 777 car.
Just a little bit sideways off that turn, and well, you know, Berkeley's going to put that right rear right up on the wall and try and power around the outside, but Daniel Gow's got that covered right now, so Berkeley's going to have to throw the big slide job.
He's going to have to be careful too. Nathan Britton staying there. If he does get it wrong, he will lose that 2nd place. So it's going to have to be accurate when he does it.
Just on board with Berkeley, just on the right front suspension, just to see how close those tyres do get to that wall, and you see how close and how high he's running on that racetrack. And well, I'll tell you what, the slide job is coming, I reckon. It's too,
Tried it there, just couldn't get the run down into the corner.
it's too slick, you know. It's turn 1 and 2. There's just way too much black stuff on the racetrack. Anyhow, white flag is now being displayed for Daniel Gow. Can he hang on? 3/4 of a mile left to run around the USA. Berkeley's going to have one last shot him out. Gow gets into the wall, and Berkeley gets on by, and the race-winning move happens. Has Gow... Is he out of fuel?
Possibly.
That's what I'm thinking. He may have just run out of fuel, but Berkeley comes across the line in 1st place, and he's also slowing on the front stretch as well. But man, what a drive. I'm almost curious to see what happened there with Daniel Gow at the end there, because that was really strange.
Yeah, he definitely pulled to the inside really quickly. He didn't need to do that. He did get into the wall, but he definitely could have kept going for a second place. But the fact he's pulled down to the infield as quick as he did, I believe he has run out of fuel.
You know what? We're going to ask him quickly as he's out of the car quickly. Daniel Gower, quickly, what happened, mate?
Outfield. Pretty plain and simple.
Thought so. There we go. Nice, simple, and very quick as well. So your top 10, Joel Berkeley comes away with the win. Gavin Sadler in second, and Nathan Britton rounds out your top 3. We're going to have a chat with our top 3 here in just a moment. In fact, we might do things a little differently here. While we wait for Nathan Britton to unmute his microphone, we're going to talk to our first place finisher of Joel Berkeley. Joel, congratulations on picking up a win here in the fixed series.
Yeah, I'll take it, Brett, I guess. Considering my practice was qualifying, but yeah, I'll take it.
When you come across the line, were you out of fuel?
Indeed was.
Okay, well, that's why you were slowing.
Yeah, he said he was out of fuel in the middle of line 2, and oh my god, I almost killed him, I think.
That racetrack was that was quite tough. It was very hard to throw a slider, especially in 1 and 2 when the track was, black slick.
Yeah, that track was really tough to pass on. I found it reminded me of the FKU round that it was slick, but it didn't look slick. So it reminds me of that round. But yeah, it was a hard to pass track. Like if you're centered on someone, well, with that slip line there, well, you're more than likely going to end in the fence and probably kill both you guys racing. So you're just yourself there.
Oh, you've had a pretty decent night. You've had 2 races. You've had a first and a second. It's been an overall good night for you and the team.
Yeah, I just need to qualify a bit, Brad. Hey, Brad.
It seems to be that you need to get out of heat races first in midgets and other stuff and qualify better in the sprint cars. But hey, no doubt you got some sponsors you want to thank.
Yeah, it's a massive thanks to the boys at TTL Esports, down to Graphics Ash Media, Speedway Footage, Piper Simulator, SimSpec Engineering, HTS, and yeah, all the other guys that make it possible.
Alright, well done on the win.
Thanks, Brad.
But Joel Berkeley comes away with the win in race number 2. We're going to send it over to Sean O'Hara to chat with our second and third place drivers.
Gavin, well done on the second place there. It was probably a bit surprising where you started the night and how that race finished at the end there. How did you manage to stay out of the way of Daniel as he ran out of fuel?
No idea. I thought I finished third until I was talking to Nathan in the room. So, yeah, it was a big surprise, I suppose. I was trying to keep out of trouble and save fuel because I thought we might be tight at the end. So I was gassed up ready to go.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Joel actually ran out of fuel after the line, and Daniel did run out of fuel just coming to the finish line. The track tonight was a little bit different than last week, obviously, but there was still some good racing.
Yeah, we started about halfway through the race. The groove started to come back down to the middle of the track, so and especially towards the end, you could still drive down there, or you could do the car back down again. So it was made for some good racing, I think.
Yeah, it definitely did make for some good racing. Now, was there any sponsors you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, Factory Cane Australia for supporting our team and the car and our league. So, and to the rest of our teammates and Gavin Sedler Racing for all the support.
Thanks for that, Gavin. Well done on the second place.
Cheers, guys.
And now we will talk to Nathan Britton. Nathan, up 7 spots in that race. Pretty good drive there.
Yeah, it was a great drive, I think. Halfway through the race, I started to save a lot of fuel, so I didn't think we were going to make it, and then they threw a caution flag, which didn't help me at all. But no, it was definitely interesting, especially with it being so slick. The groove moved down a lot from the top to 3/4, so it was very interesting towards the end there, that last restart.
Fuel definitely has been the talk of the night. Was that something that the fuel burns a little bit different at this track because you're so wide open and the straights are so long?
Yeah, I think it does help with it being so wide open and like that long straights and that sort of thing. But I don't think we put enough fuel in to start the race. We only had 30 gallons for 40 laps, which is cutting it fine anyway. So, but with this there running so hard, it's just we just chew the fuel. I think it's over a gallon a lap that we actually chew up.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard, a little bit different with these fixed setup series. It's not, you can't change the fuel or anything, so it's made it a bit tricky to try and manage the fuel on the throttle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as I said, halfway through, I was probably half throttle down the straights and quarter throttle in the corners, trying to save fuel, and then he threw the caution at the end, which made it so everybody had enough fuel to get to the end. Well, we thought everybody, except for I think Dean Gow ran out at the end, but it's definitely good racing at the end with that last restart.
Yeah, it was definitely brought the fuel back together as well as not just only saving fuel, so it definitely made for a good few final laps there. Congratulations on the third. Is there anyone you'd like to thank tonight?
I want to thank you and Brett, of course, for putting on another great broadcast, and the boys at Synergy Sim Racing and Trackstar Raceway, especially the boys at Synergy Sim Racing for allowing me to be part of such a great team. I'm really excited and proud to be part of probably one of the best dirt racing teams that Australia and New Zealand's got at the moment.
Thanks for that, Nathan, and thanks for your time tonight.
All right, thank you guys.
Hand it back over to Brett in the booth.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Catching up with our second place finish of Gavin Sadler and our third place finish of Nathan Britton. Well done to Joel Berkeley and Sean. A track that was a lot slicker than what we've seen in race number one. Guys having to save fuel in to get across line. Unfortunately for Daniel Gow, he fell a lap short. So overall thoughts on the race?
Yeah, the fuel situation definitely made it interesting, to say the least. We didn't know that in the booth at the time, that was the reason for caution note, so it was interesting to know that after the race, but definitely made for an interesting last 5 laps, because Joel was definitely walking away with the win there.
Well, that will conclude round, I'm not sure what round it is, maybe 4 or 5, I'd have to double check, but you've been watching the Australian Fixed Setup Racing WP Concreting World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series, the 410s around at the USA International Speedway. On behalf of everyone here at Ultimate Dirt TV, Sean O'Hara, my name's Brett Wheeler. Take care. Good night. We'll see you back here next week.